So in this video, I want to talk about how to use agentic coding for the regular person. Like, it sounds a little bit intimidating, deploying agents and coding with AI and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to demonstrate it on a very common use case. And in the process, I'll show you a couple of little tricks that everybody can use that you don't really have to know how to code in order to get through this. My wife, Mika, has a ceramic studio and she teaches ceramic classes. And what happens is people book these classes, supposed to book these classes in advance. She shows up to the class. If there's enough people to book, she has to deduct those credits. Let's say she sells a package of 5 or 10 classes, and then she has to keep track somehow of these people using these packages. So I thought this was a very typical use case scenario. It's a small business owner and needs some kind of like point tracking system, very custom for her case. A good example to use to show the overall workflow. Easiest way to start is you pick your favorite LLM, your favorite AI that has voice mode, the conversational mode. So it's like, hey, are you there?
Here.
Perfect. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a addition to a website that I want to make. I want you to interview me to extract the entire concept, and then at the end of it, once you're satisfied with all the details and you think you have the full picture, I want you to give me a summary, a spec sheet of some sorts that describes the entire project. Is that okay?
Absolutely, that sounds like a solid plan. I'll ask questions to draw out all the important details. When we've got it all, I'll pull it together into a neat spec sheet. Let's get this interview rolling.
Okay, so for a website called Ceramica, which is a ceramic studio, we want to develop the new section, a feature. I don't know if it's a separate app, I don't know if it's part of the theme, but it is a basic WordPress website, and what we need is a way to track classes. We need a schedule of classes.
This is a great start. I've got a few questions to make sure we cover all the angles. First, do you have a preferred payment gateway in mind for the online purchases? Second, do you want notifications like email reminders for the students or the admins when a class is booked? Got it. Stripe with WooCommerce, admin notifications, and a public-facing schedule all make sense. I'll guide one question at a time from here. For packages, when students purchase credits online, do you envision auto account creation at checkout, or would they need to sign up first and then buy credits?
I don't really know. Recommend me the most frictionless way possible.
Perfect. I'm confident I have the full picture now. Let me summarize everything into a concise spec for you. Give me a moment and I'll present your project blueprint.
And that's basically it. So let's one-shot it. Let's see what comes out first time around. Because what happens is that first time is rarely what you expect it to be, but it's a good start. And the way that you work with it afterward is you basically complain to it step by step about anything that doesn't meet your expectations. And in that process, it shapes itself into that feature that you really need to have at the end of the day. Okay, so then I go inside the LLM, ChatGPT in this particular case, and say, give me the spec, which is the specification document. And then it gives me this little summary. I don't even check it because LLMs are definitely good enough at summarizing what I want. Like, I'm not sure if it thought through everything, but it definitely captured what I was ranting about 100%. I copy it. I then go start a new task inside the Ceramica folder. And that's an important part because I've taken some time to set up the folder, and it now knows where my website is, how to update it, and what the context is all about. So I don't have to say much at this point. I just say build this, copy paste, and then boom, off you go. Okay, so it went off for about 14 minutes building something locally. I say, okay, go ahead, push it live. It goes for 41 more minutes, realizes that it's missing a whole bunch of screens. Then I wanted to do its own QA, so I just preloaded a task, say, hey, use your browser and double check the quality, like walk through everything, click on everything, try to break it, and make sure it works in both languages. It goes off for another 38 minutes, double checking its own work, whether it's technically functional, and it comes back with something. Then I begin the actual process. I start looking at it as a user and catching all the things that the LLM didn't think about. So technically, most things have worked, but I'm specifically using vague, non-technical language here, saying, hey, let's improve the UI of the weekly schedule. Don't like it, or like show the current week and toggle for next week because it just gave me a long list of dates, for example. Little things like that, just like not, I don't want to get into the details of this particular app or plugin or whatever you want to call this, technically a plugin. But I begin to complain to it, things that don't meet my expectations. Then it comes back for another 28 minutes, and then it technically addressed everything that I did, but the design wasn't good. So then I invoke a thing called design taste. And design taste is a skill. A skill is like a text file that describes what design taste is, which is how to balance things, how to align things of that nature. And the way I got this is I just asked Codex to download it for itself. I said, hey Codex, download design taste skill. And then we went through a couple of back and forths, and then ta-da, upgraded. Now it has design taste. So I instead of me telling him like, hey, align this div and that div and describing all this stuff, I just say, hey, you be the judge, design taste your own work. It goes off for another 21 minutes, and it comes back with something much better. But I still notice some issues. So then I begin complaining to it about things that I specifically notice, and I use broken language, and I complain to it in a very non-technical way that anybody can do. And few more rounds of that, and now we've had a version. So I go to the website, and actually in here we have a new section called classes. When I click on classes, suddenly I have to schedule. I can log in, and it has all kinds of cool functionality. Like if I'm not logged in, it asks me to log in. For example, let's try to log in. Okay, and we have a proprietary screen. This used to be WordPress by default. Very cool. So I say, yeah, log me in. So when I'm logged in, I have this like control panel. If I have credits, it'll tell me credits. It does have this week, next week. It aligned this table by itself. I didn't have to tell it too much. It was like, hey, you created a terrible table, make it better using design taste. And then it just comes back with this beautifully intuitive table. The most impressive part is not even the front end, which obviously looks nice and cute, but it's what the administrator, Mika in this particular case, gets. She gets a whole new section inside of the WordPress admin panel where she can manage the type of classes, add classes, the 3 categories color-coded. She can manage the schedule, obviously, preview it, see the bookings, manage students. Let's say somebody pays cash in person, she could quickly grant them a package, quickly ingest that student. I went through a couple of cycles of like, oh, it'd be cool if, she could manually adjust credits behind the scene, or, change the pricing of the packages, edit those, or how many minutes, like all these little things that, so we don't get back to the LLM for changes. You just, go into the back end. And I think that's the more impressive part of this plugin that we ended up creating, the custom plugin. So this is something that used to cost thousands of dollars, at least $1,000 if you'd outsource it to a very cheap country. About a year and a half ago, you'd have to go back and forth with a account manager if you're working with like a company. It would be a super annoying process. And now we've done this using the laziest methods in the history of the world. We phone interviewed, brain dumped a rough idea of what we wanted to do. And then when it produced that rough idea, we're like, oh, I didn't think about this, I didn't think about that. And we just complain to it in plain language with like spelling mistakes, non-technical English, and eventually we just polish it down to this thing that actually works and very, very intuitive. So I encourage everybody to just like, if you have a website and you're kind of frustrated with your people, turn your agent into your web guy, and then you have an amazing web guy that saves you a lot of money, and you can find these little solutions that otherwise would have cost you a lot of money.
either monthly subscriptions and then you depend on a service, or you'd have to pay programmers or other people to code it for you for a lot of money. So you saw, interview and complain.